Good evening, friends. We start tonight in the Middle East. Turkey's operation in Syria's Afrin province is in its 34th day. Hundreds of civilians have been killed or injured as the United States is now stuck between two of its allies attacking each other. Reporter Dan Cohen has the story tonight.
The Turkish military escalated its offensive on Syria's Afrin province overnight, raining shells down on the beleaguered city. Syrian state media reports that 625 civilians have been killed or injured since the beginning of what Turkey calls an anti-terror operation codenamed Operation Olive Branch. The attack came as hundreds of pro-government Syrian militiamen poured into Afrin as representatives from Kurdish and the Syrian government struck a deal. Here, they chant, "The Syrian people are united." Turkish officials claimed that the attack forced pro-government militias to retreat.
We saw that there was an attempt by a convoy of 20 to 30 or 40 to 50 vehicles coming from around Aleppo to enter the south of Afrin. But this was immediately repelled by our shelling, and these militia forces retreated towards Aleppo.
However, Syrian state media outlets say the fighters have taken up positions in Afrin. So how did this clash of U.S. allies take place? In January, the U.S. announced it was training a mostly Kurdish force to be stationed on Syria's border with Turkey. President Erdogan threatened to strangle the force before it was born, forcing the U.S. to backtrack. The U.S. has been mostly mum as Turkey's invasion kicked off. The U.S. and Turkey remain at odds over Manbij, the city just west of the Euphrates River, where U.S. forces are stationed with Kurdish militias. Meanwhile, the U.S. is continuing to arm its Kurdish allies while discouraging them from joining the fight against Turkey.
Our knowledge in terms of what is going on in Afrin is somewhat limited because we're not operating, because we're not equipping there, because U.S. forces are not there.
As Afrin burns to the ground, the U.S.'s passive stance seems to be of little consolation. In Washington, Dan Cohen, RT.